You know, it all kicked off the day I rolled up to my new place in this sleepy little suburb outside Seattle. I'd scraped together every last dime for this cozy house with its own backyard oasis, a sparkling pool that screamed relaxation after years of cramped apartments. But man, that first real morning, I jolted awake to what sounded like a full-blown fiesta out back, splashing water, blaring tunes, and these high-pitched laughs echoing off the fences. I stumbled outside in my pajamas, rubbing sleep from my eyes, and there they were. Three ladies sprawled out on my lounge chairs, floats bobbing in the water like it was some public park. And right in the middle, this woman with oversized shades and a floppy hat, sipping a margarita without a care in the world. I cleared my throat, trying to keep it cool at first. Hey, excuse me, but this is my property now and you're trespassing. But she barely glanced up, just tilted her head like I was the intruder. Oh, really? Sweetie, I've been using this pool for years with the old owners. They were practically family, and no one's ever mentioned a sale. You sure you're not squatting or something? Her voice dripped with that fake sweet sarcasm, the kind that makes your blood simmer, and her friends just giggled along, one of them even waving me off like I was a pesky fly. I felt this knot twist in my gut. I'd poured my heart into buying this place to escape the chaos of city life, dreaming of quiet swims under the stars, and here was Brenda, as I'd later learn her name, turning my sanctuary into her personal clubhouse. It wasn't just about the pool, it was her entitlement, like the neighborhood revolved around her because she'd bullied her way into the HOA board years ago, twisting rules to suit her clique, while everyone else tiptoed around her tantrums. I repeated myself, firmer this time. Get out, or I'll call the cops. And she finally stood, dripping water everywhere, flashing this tight-lipped smile. We'll see about that, newcomer. This isn't over. As they sauntered out the gate, which, by the way, swung open like she'd had a key forever. I stood there, heart pounding, wondering if I'd just bought into a nightmare disguised as a dream home. That encounter lingered in my mind all day, gnawing at me. Why did she act like she owned everything? Turns out, from chatting with a neighbor later, Brenda had a history. She'd clawed her way to power in the HOA after a messy divorce left her bitter, using her position to control little things like who got yard approvals or party permits, all while treating shared spaces as her kingdom. My pool. Apparently, the previous owners had let her use it to avoid her wrath, some unspoken deal to keep the peace. But I wasn't about to play that game. So, I got proactive, installing these high-tech cameras that caught every angle of the yard, slapping up those glaring private property no trespassing signs on the fence, even changing the gate lock just in case. Felt good at first, like I was reclaiming my space. But Brenda, she treated those signs like decorations. The footage was infuriating. Every afternoon when I'd head to work at the tech firm downtown, there she'd be, slipping in alone or with her gal pals, munching snacks, blasting pop music, even dragging in this giant unicorn float that screamed over the top. No forced entry. She must have sweet-talked the old owners into giving her a spare key back in the day, a remnant of her manipulative charm. It burned me up inside, this violation of my hard-earned peace. I'd moved here to heal from my own rough patch, a bad breakup that left me craving solitude, and now every dip in that pool felt tainted by her shadow. Desperate for backup, I marched over to the HOA meeting that week, laying it all out to the president, this stern lady named Margaret who'd been in cahoots with Brenda forever. They went way back to PTA days, bonding over shared grudges against outsiders like me. She listened with this bored sigh, then shrugged. Look, disputes like this happen. Maybe talk it out with her. Not much we can enforce without proof of damage. Proof? I had videos. But her eyes glazed over. It was clear. Brenda's reign of petty terror kept the board in line, and rocking that boat meant trouble for everyone. Walking home that night, frustration bubbling into something sharper, I realized I was on my own. No community support, just me against this web of small-town politics where entitlement trumped fairness. That's when the idea sparked. I couldn't fight her with rules she ignored, so why not turn her own habits against her? I called up my old college buddy Alex, this quirky chemist who'd always been into wild experiments. We hadn't talked in ages, but after I spilled the saga, her bold invasions, that smug vanity, how she slathered on this fancy imported lotion every time before swimming, obsessed with her flawless skin, he chuckled, intrigued. Dude, I can whip up something harmless, but it'll react big time with that specific brand. Safe for normal folks, but for her, let's just say it'll make a statement. We brainstormed over beers, not out of malice, but justice. Her motive was clear. Power, controlling what wasn't hers to mask her loneliness post-divorce, and mine, protecting the one thing I'd built for myself. Alex delivered this little vial a few days later, and I tested it in a kiddie pool out back, mixed with a dab of her lotion type. The water fizzed subtly at first, then erupted into this vivid blue foam that clung to skin like glue, harmless but impossible to ignore, with a faint, embarrassing floral scent gone wrong, like wilted roses mixed with gym socks. Perfect. It wouldn't hurt anyone without that lotion. But for Brenda, showtime. I woke early that scorching Saturday, scrubbed the pool till it gleamed like a magazine ad, measured out the chemical precisely, and waited. The water looked inviting as ever, bait for her radar. Sure enough, my phone pinged around noon. Motion alert. Peeking at the feed from my office hideout downtown, there she was with her two sidekicks, Rita and Sue. Rita, the gossipy one who'd spread rumors about the old owners to force the sale. Sue, the enabler who laughed at everything to stay in the inner circle. They slathered on that lotion, giggling about the new guy's lame signs, and Brenda dove in first, all grace and arrogance. This is still our spot, girls. He wouldn't dare mess with us. The calm lasted maybe 5 minutes. Then Brenda surfaced, glancing at her arms, and froze. What the guys, look at this! Blue foam bubbled up around her, clinging in splotches, turning her skin this electric shade that screamed unnatural, the scent wafting even through the camera. Her friends splashed out in panic. "Brenda, you're glowing, and it smells awful!" Scrambling over each other, towels flying, as she shrieked, "That bastard poisoned the water! I'll sue him blind!" They bolted for the gate, half-dressed, foam dripping like some bad sci-fi effect, and Brenda whipped out her phone, recording a furious rant. "See this? The new creep next door tried to kill me! HOA, do something!" Posting it online, expecting a wave of support from her echo chamber. But oh, the internet turned it into gold within hours. Memes exploded. Blue Brenda's pool party fail. Edits with superhero capes gone wrong. Her face photoshopped onto Smurfs. I drove home grinning, but braced. And there she was, pacing my driveway like a storm cloud, still patchy blue, the smell hitting me from 10 feet away. Neighbors peeked from windows, old Mr. Jenkins across the street, who'd whispered warnings about her HOA manipulations. Kids on bikes slowing to gawk. She charged at me, finger jabbing. "You think this is funny? I'll own your house by week's end assault, vandalism, the works." Her voice cracked with rage, but underneath, I saw the crack in her armor. Vulnerability, the fear of losing control in a community she'd dominated to fill her empty days. I pulled out my phone, recording calmly. "Smile for the evidence, Brenda. Those cameras caught every trespass." The crowd murmured. Laughs bubbling up, even Margaret showing up, face paling as she tried to hush her. "Brenda, let's not escalate." But it was too late. The video circus had exposed her bullying for what it was, a shield against her own isolation. She followed through, storming the police station 2 days later, ranting about chemical warfare. But the cops, armed with my footage of her repeated break-ins and Alex's lab report proving the additive was eco-friendly pool clarifier, just safe and reactive to her lotion, laughed it off. "Ma'am, you admitted to trespassing on tape. Case closed." The backlash hit hard. HOA emails flew, distancing from her personal disputes, teens dubbing her Bluezilla at the local diner, faint blue tinges lingering on her skin for weeks like a badge of hubris. Me? I finally swam in peace that weekend, floating under the sun with a cold beer, replaying her wide-eyed panic in my mind. It wasn't just revenge. It was reclaiming my space, forcing her to face how her power plays alienated everyone, including herself. But here's the thing that still nags at me. Was I too harsh? She was pushy, sure, driven by her own demons, loneliness. Maybe even jealousy of newcomers starting fresh, but turning her into a neighborhood joke? Did that make me the bully? Or was it fair game in a world where rules only apply to some? What do you think? Did she deserve the blue treatment? Or should I have handled it differently? Drop your take in the comments. Share your own HOA horror stories, thoughts on community justice, or if you've ever fought back against a neighborhood tyrant. Like and subscribe if this hit home. Your stories keep these tales alive.